doesn't like hidden bases? If you don't, then quite frankly, you're weird. Okay, and I wouldn't want to be friends with you. Which, no, I'll be the first to admit comes across a lot more hostile than I was expecting, but to a certain extent it is true. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at 25 different hidden entrances and also hidden activation devices that you can use to activate your hidden entrances so that you can make the best hidden bases in Minecraft. 2x2 flush piston door. I thought I would start things off with some fairly simple ones before we move on to some of the more complicated stuff, and this is by far the most common type of hidden entrance. I mean, look at it. You can understand why. It's a really nice looking piston door. It only involves a handful of pieces of redstone dust and 2 repeaters. You could build it within about 30 seconds if you're motivated enough. And it does the trick, doesn't it? Redstone torch key. For anyone who's seen one of my bunker videos before, you've probably seen this piston layout because this is one of my favorite hidden activation devices. If we place down a redstone torch, you can see the pistons extend, the redstone torch gets broken, and we can take a redstone output from this thing. Now, the reason that we want to break the redstone torch is because we want to be able to pick up that item and remove any evidence of there being a hidden activation device there. It's really small, it's really simple, easy to build, it's pretty cool. The tiny hidden staircase. And I would say that's a fairly fitting description for this thing. I mean, I built it back in 2014, maybe 2015, and in 4 or 5 years, I still haven't been able to improve it. I still haven't been able to make it any smaller. So here we have a completely flat floor. If you flick this lever here, you can see that everything folds away and we have ourselves a little staircase that we can walk down. Then when we flick the lever again, everything folds back up. And just look how much is happening here inside that tiny circuit. I mean, all of this happening in something that could fit in my back pocket. Yeah, that's right. My back pocket is a 48 cubic meters. I'm a big guy. The anti-path activator. Now, the reason I call it that is because this redstone contraption really looks like it doesn't like path blocks. If we convert this, you can see that instantly the piston extends, converting it into dirt. But most importantly, we get a redstone output from that, which we can hook up into one of our hidden entrances. And the reason that this is so good is because you always have a shovel on you. So there's no specific item that you need to carry to activate your hidden activation device, you just have to right click on the correct grass block. Important disclaimer time. Whenever I do a video on hidden entrances or hidden activation devices, very smart people in the comment section point out that they can see the hidden entrances and hidden activation devices because I have used things like iron blocks and glass. You can clearly see this. Obviously, if you were to build this yourselves, you would try your best to conceal the redstone contraptions a tiny bit better. I know it seems silly that I would even have to explain this, but you haven't read the YouTube comment sections like I have. The pretentious entrance. Definitely a tricky one to say, and the reason it's got that name is because a lot of people say that art is like a gateway into another dimension or another world, and you know, I'll leave you guys to debate that down in the comment section, but this piece of art is a gateway into another part of your base that is completely concealed. We've all seen the walkthrough paintings that have been built since 2010 Minecraft. They're pretty old school. Nowadays we can crawl through, meaning that if we add a little bit of redstone, we can actually get through 1x1 paintings, and they're really smart and really simple. I was going to do a really bad Batman impression, but then I decided against the entrance. Back in the day when I was a young'un on YouTube, one of my most popular videos was a Batman style waterfall splitter entrance. Now, it's been a while since I've touched on the subject, so I thought I would try and redo it with modern redstone technology and make it as small as I possibly could. I spent a number of hours on this, and I've got to say I'm very proud of the end result. I mean, this thing's absolutely tiny. It's about as small as it could reasonably be, and if we hit this button right here, you can see that the waterfall gets removed, and then it drops back down. It splits on either side of our now open doors so we can gain access to our base. And then if we activate it once again, you can see that the waterfall goes, everything gets closed up, and everything returns back to normal. I love these things. I think they're absolutely great, and I am really proud of this design. I mean, there's so much fancy stuff going in here, and just odd redstone mechanics that it doesn't make a lot of sense, but it all seems to work somehow. The power puff activator. I don't know if it's just my bad luck or if I'm doing something wrong, but whenever I build the tripwire based pufferfish player detectors, the pufferfish always escape and die. So I thought I'd come up with a slightly new design which utilizes some slightly different game mechanics. So here we have a pufferfish in a waterlogged fence post with a pressure plate on top. When the pufferfish puffs up, it will then activate that pressure plate, obviously giving us a redstone output, but this setup here doesn't give any room for escape, so you're in here forever, buddy. The lazy flush. This is for people who are too lazy to build something like this. You can just construct a piston door in the corner. Is it boring? Yes. Is it bland? Very bland. I would think you're super bland if you built this. I mean, if I came to your base and I saw this, I would be judging you a lot. I'd be judging you lots, okay? Because it's so unimaginative, but for some people it fits the bill. A farmer's button. This is a pretty nice looking field of wheat. Nothing too curious or strange about it. If I walked past, I wouldn't notice anything. But if we take a look here, you can see there's a slight gap. And if we utilize the hitboxes, we can right click through that gap, hitting a button, which allows us to activate some form of hidden redstone device. This is a sneaky one, okay? It is a sneaky one. Only the keenest of keen eyes would be able to spot it. The underwater easy in and easy out is a bit of an interesting concept in that I thought I'd just try and build it and see if it worked, and it actually seems to work quite nicely. So currently we're on the inside of our hidden base, the ocean is above us. If we hit this button right here, you can see that soul sand gets swapped across, we get a shot upwards, the trapdoor closes up behind us, and then we can leave our hidden base behind without anyone knowing that it's there. Now if we were entering the hidden base, we would obviously have some form of secret activation device that would open up our trapdoor, the magma would stay there, we'd drop through the water without having to hold shift or do anything like that, and we'd immediately drop down into our hidden base. The overwater easy in and easy out is probably one of my favorite trapdoors to exit from. So here we are on the inside of my hidden base. I know it needs a little bit of work, but if we hit this button right here, you can see that we get launched upwards and then the trapdoor closes up behind us. Makes it so much easier to get out of that hidden base. And if we take a look at the redstone, another one that is crazy how small it is. Look, 2 blocks wide, okay, paper thin, the Stonebreaker. Now I will be the first to admit that this is no small redstone contraption, okay, this is quite a beefy one, but it does come with the added benefit that you don't need any specific items in your inventory. No redstone torch keys, no special key passes, all you need is a pickaxe, and you need to know what block to break. When you break that specific stone block, it will be replenished, you'll get yourself a redstone output, and that will activate your hidden entrance. It's pretty smart. But it's huge, yeah, it's very big. The entrance from 2012. This little thing was featured in my 50 things you can build in Minecraft video, but sometimes it's good to remind people of the old goldies. If we just jump through this lava, you can see we drop through straight into water, we barely take any damage in survival, and then we've popped into our hidden base. I mean, it's as simple as that, no redstone involved, and the best thing is if someone sees you do this, you look amazing. You've just jumped off a ledge into lava like a total nutcase and somehow haven't died. Not a hidden staircase, but a hidden entrance in a staircase. It's a fairly lengthy name, but I'd say it's quite a descriptive one. Here is our not hidden staircase, and if we activate this thing, it reveals our hidden entrance. Now as you can see, this is 1 block wide, but the good thing about this redstone design is it's expandable, so if you want something slightly wider, then all you have to do is copy the redstone over. But if you want it in 1 wide configuration, then as you can see, I mean it's about as small as it can be. This thing is a slither of a redstone contraption, and I would say that's the technical term for it. The composter pull-through. Once again, Minecraft 1.14 comes to the rescue in 2 ways. First off, we've got the composter, quite a nice little block, but more importantly, we have the crawl feature. We can literally package ourselves up and pull ourselves through a wall to gain access into a hidden base. Now this looks extra spectacular from the third person. The very predictable but also very good hidden activation device. It consists of a little item filter. I mean, you've seen me use these in my bunker videos. Once again, you throw a specific type of item on a specific part of the ground and it will trigger a redstone circuit. First off, a player needs to know where to throw the items, which is unlikely that they're going to be able to guess that, but they'd also need to guess what item and also what you've renamed the item. If they were to try and brute force this, they'd be there for a long time. A very long time. Heat death of the universe kind of time. The flush piston door, but for much cooler people. Yeah, we get it. Okay, your flush piston door that was invented back in like 2011 is alright, I suppose. But everyone knows that 3x3 doors are far cooler than 2x2 doors. And this one is no exception. Here it is. It involves slime blocks, double piston extenders, a little bit of piston action up at the top there. All very nice and in sync. I love these things. If I was to hide away a base, I think this might be what I'd go for. Hiding in plain sight, or as I like to call it, the Illuminati button. Now, if you're really looking for it, you can just about see it. I'm under no illusions that there's no way that a player could find this, but in the context of regular Minecraft terrain, with a giant cliff face in front of you, you're going to be hard pushed to spot something like that, especially if you're not looking for it. I spent way too long building this small redstone contraption, but I'm proud of it. I'm really liking the descriptive names for these things. This is very similar to the path switch that we saw earlier on in the video, but it has an added complexity that I wanted to put a trapdoor in there as well. So when we convert this grass block into a path, or this dirt into farmland, it will get moved out the way, create a trapdoor that we can drop through, and then it will be pushed back up into place. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? I thought it'd be simple too. Oh, the timing's very specific. The timings are super specific, and it's a very unstable circuit, but I managed to make it work after a few teary moments. Staircase fresh out the wall. Just as a quick disclaimer, this is utterly pointless, okay? It really is over the top, but it's over the top in the best possible way. This is like flexing, but with redstone. If you have this as your hidden entrance, I mean, it's so ridiculous. So you've got stairs popping up out of the ground, then we have this popping up here, and then these blocks get retracted back, and then we have a 2x2 flush piston door up at the top. So you essentially create a staircase up into your hidden entrance, and it looks amazing. And I gotta say, I think I did a pretty good job with the redstone as well. So the main bulk of it is just 2 blocks wide, and then up at the top here, things get a little bit bigger for the flush trapdoor, but still, this is not that big, and also not really that complicated. I want one of these. They're simply the best. I mean, this is just the best. This probably had the longest development time out of all the builds in the video, but I'm definitely the most proud of it, just because it's another one that is super compact. I mean, look, everything kind of fits within this really small space. You can actually put 2 of them next to one another and mirror it to create a 2 wide system, and just look how streamlined this is. How cool is that? So we flick the lever, we've got ourselves a completely flat wall, nothing to see there, and then we activate it once again, everything folds out the way, and we have got ourselves a staircase. Oh, this hits the spot for me. Oh, that totally hits the spot. Bouncing in. With all this talk of staircases and things, it got me thinking, maybe there's a way to cut out the staircase and just launch ourselves to the destination. And I gotta say, the end result is pretty satisfying. Slime blocks are always good fun, and when they're set up like this, it's even cooler. So the little block moves out of the way, revealing the slime block. We then get launched upwards by the slime block, and as that happens, this flush piston door opens up, allowing us to pass through into the hidden base up at the top. I can't get enough of this thing. The cave crawler. A lot of these systems recently have been fairly big and bulky and quite redstone intensive, so let's take a look at one that's considerably simpler. All we have to do is activate it, we'll be pushed downwards into the crawl state, and we'll be able to crawl through a little gap that we've created inside the cave. 2 pistons, just a little bit of redstone. That's about all you need. The cave, not crawler, it's 3 blocks wide, you've got loads of space. I thought I would work off this idea a little bit by constructing a piston door that looks like a part of the cave. So if we hit this button here, you can see that the cave then gets retracted back, and we've got a lovely 3x3 area, which we can all agree is probably one of the nicest sizes for a piston door. And then when we activate it once again, everything closes back up in our desired configuration. Now, this wasn't too complicated. You can see that we've got a bunch of single piston extenders, and then the only tricky bit were these central blocks, but that was handled by these double piston extenders, and all of that circuitry is happening underneath. And that, it was pretty plain sailing. And finally, you could just place a block over it. I mean, not much redstone needed. You can cover it up if you want to. Hold shift, nobody's going to know you're in there. When the coast is clear, just remove the block and pop back out, and then just replace the block. No redstone needed. No redstone needed. Makes you really think. If it's been a total waste of time, you know, these past 2 days compiling this list, coming up with the ideas, building the redstone for them, you know, it really makes you rethink those things.